Is Canada closing the door for international students and for workers? In this video, we're going to cover a few questions that we received from clients asking if Canada closing the door for foreign workers, international students. And this is a very common question based on the latest updates we received from IRCC. It looks like things are not doing well in Canada, but we're going to cover all the facts and all the policy changes that happened in the past 4 or 5 months, and we're going to decide if Canada is closing the doors or not. So the biggest change that happened late in 2023 was the change to proof of funds for international students. So back then, people could apply for a study permit if they had $10,000 in their savings account or checking account, but that amount doubled in late 2023, and that put a toll on some plans, people who wanted to come to Canada and study. So you need more money to come to Canada now to cover the living expenses. And the other change that happened early in 2024 was that Canada announced a cap on the number of international students. So that's the first time Canada is actually limiting the number of study permits, and that also took a toll on the plans of people coming to Canada to attend college or university. The reduction on the study permit applications will be seen throughout 2024, 2025, and 2026. And for this year, the plan is to reduce 35% the number of applications. So in order to do this reduction, Canada is implementing some changes. International students will have to obtain an attestation letter from the province, allowing them to apply for a study permit. So that's a big change for international students and also for institutions here in Canada. So Canada is implementing some changes for the DLIs, for the institutions, colleges, universities that welcome international students. So they have more requirements now. So if they want to welcome international students, they also have to follow some requirements, additional requirements, especially related to housing and the quality of education. So Canada is trying to fix a lot of problems that happened in the previous years with international students. So they want to offer a better experience for people who are coming here to attend a program in Canada. Another big change that happened in 2024 is that people who are going to a private college will not be eligible for PGWP anymore, the postgraduate work permit. Some institutions that are private, they had partnership with public institutions, and they were able to offer PGWP for their students. So starting in May 2024, this is not an option anymore. So if you're planning on coming to Canada and you will attend a private college, just be aware that you're not going to be eligible for a postgraduate work permit, but you may look into other options, maybe a provincial nominee program or LMIA, so you can continue living here in Canada after graduation. One of the biggest changes that happened in 2024 is that spouses of international students are no longer eligible for an open work permit if the student is attending a college here in Canada. So you can still be eligible for the spousal open work permit if you're attending a master's or a doctorate program. So these are some of the changes that happened in the past couple of months. And to wrap up the latest updates from IRCC, Canada just announced that they will try to reduce the number of temporary residents in Canada from 6.2% to 5% within 3 years. And the whole idea of doing that is to reduce the pressure on our housing situation and also the healthcare. So we covered all the bad news that we had in the past few months, but what is the advantage of this news? So immigration is not trying to close the door for people to come in here and study and work. They are putting these new policies in place for a reason, right? And what is the reason they're doing that? In my opinion, they're trying to organize things here and offer a better experience for people who are coming to Canada in the future. So it's not worth having people come here and struggle to find a job, struggle to find an apartment to live, or to find a family doctor. So Canada, they need to work on some issues that are happening here in the country right now. And I believe that these changes will be for the better, and I believe people will have a better experience here in the future. So if the best option for them is actually to cap the number of international students for now and reduce the number of temporary residents in the next 3 years, I believe this is something that they had to do in order to fix some of the problems here in the country. But what are the good news, right? So what's happening that is good news here in Canada? So lately, Express Entry had many changes, and they are bringing more and more people every week, right? So if you follow Maritimes on social media, you will see that we post very often the draws of Express Entry, and we have more people coming who are speaking French. So if you do have fluency in French, or if you're thinking about learning French, this is something that can open doors for you in Canada, not only for express entry, but also for work permit. So there are specific immigration streams for people who speak French, or even work permit for people who do speak French. So this is something that you have to look out for if you want to learn a new language. I highly recommend learn French, and that will increase your chances of immigrating to Canada in the future. Another good news is that Canada is really, really looking into helping people who are already here in Canada transition from temporary residence to permanent resident status, right? So if you're here as an international student or as a foreign worker, you have good chances of actually applying for permanent residence either through a provincial nominee program or express entry. So this is the best time for you to be in Canada and apply for a PR. Another good news is that if you're coming here to study, you can still bring your family. You could still apply for a spousal open work permit, but you just have to understand what are the new policies, right? So if you want to bring your family, if you want to give the chance for your husband or wife to apply for a spousal open work permit, you will have to attend a master's degree or a doctorate program, or even some specific bachelor degrees programs that will actually allow them to apply for a open work permit. So if you need assistance with that, contact us. We're happy to help with your plans of coming to Canada as a family, right? To sum up all the information that we shared here in the video, I strongly believe that Canada is not closing the door in 2024. I believe that these changes are necessary, and Canada will need to fix some issues here, especially with housing and healthcare. And I believe these changes are for the better. I think that people will have a better experience if they can come to Canada and find a nice place to live, pay a fair, reasonable amount for your rent. Uh, I want people to find a family doctor to have a great experience in Canada, right? So if some steps are required to reach this goal, then I believe this is the best thing to do, right? So putting a cap on the number of students for now, reducing some of the temporary residents for a couple of years, I believe these are reasonable changes to the policies, and I believe people will have a great experience in Canada. And Canada will always need people, right? So we cannot keep up with the population growth only with Canadians or permanent residents. So we do need foreign workers, we need international students, we need people coming in here so that the country can grow, right? And we are happy to help people who are interested in coming to Canada. So if you live anywhere in the world and you want to book a consultation with us, we can discuss these recent policy changes with you and your family, and we can make a plan for you to settle down in Canada in the next year or so. All right, so make sure you contact us, send us a message, or book an initial consultation. We're happy to help.